All right, guys, we're back with another one. Apparently, it seems like DHS is under some kind of scrutiny. Take a look at this video and we'll definitely share our opinions on that.
That's right. The mom is a Rhode Island Department of Human Services supervisor. Tonight, Team's John Perrick joins us live in studio with reaction from people who really depend on this, John.
Dan and Patrice, investigators say the DHS supervisor allegedly stole personal information from hundreds of SNAP recipients through her job, all as part of a fraudulent scheme to buy groceries. New photos show alleged fraud unfolding.
Breaking the system. Wow. I can't get over it.
A year-long investigation coming to a close tonight. 57-year-old Nadine Jean Baptiste and her daughter, 27-year-old Octavia Jean Baptiste, arrested at work today for allegedly committing benefits fraud. Nadine is a DHS supervisor here in Providence.
Very concerned, especially from a person that has the authority.
Nadine Jean Baptiste accused of using her position with the state to improperly access personal information from SNAP recipients to check SNAP EBT card balances, changing the pins so she could use those cards.
Disappointing, disheartening, and hopefully people will pay more attention to what they're doing.
The two allegedly used those cards to purchase items here at a Cranston Stop and Shop, as well as a Walmart and a Market Basket in Warwick. Federal prosecutors say the total value of the SNAP EBT benefit cards the suspects used is $191,000.
She should do $190,000 days in jail.
We went to Nadine Jean Baptiste's house. She wasn't home, but we spoke with a family member through Google Translate. She then called Nadine, and that's when the door closed. Officials tell us among the people who had their information stolen, some were incarcerated or homeless.
You heard it. Now it's time to put your 2 cents in on it. I get it. I understand. There's rough times everywhere. But in a situation like this, there's different ways of going about doing things like this. Not to say that condoning any type of, criminalistic activity as such, but there is different ways on trying to advance yourself. You don't take advantage of the system. You don't take advantage of the fact that you work there, that you can be able to access information that's usable
that's pertinent to
others. People.
Yeah.
So you don't do things like that, because those positions are a position of trust where people depend on what's coming from that trust, so to speak, right? So when you take advantage of that situation, it's like you're taking food off of someone's table, literally.
Right.
In this essence. So turn it over.
Nadine Jean Baptiste, you know better. Department of Human Services supervisor. Same thing as Quay said. It's like, how dare you use your position of power to create such a criminalistic act, all right? Like, it's so not worth it. If you felt, because there's a lot of people out there, right, that feel that because they work hard, for some odd reason, they feel like the people that they're servicing, especially when it comes to like public assistance, food stamps, cash assistance, and insurances, right? Mm-hmm. They feel like, okay, I got to get up every morning. I got to work hard. And here it is, you just walk into the office and I have to approve you for benefits. And meanwhile, you've never worked a day in your life. So it's this sense of, if it's fair enough to say, jealousy and entitlement.
Devalued,
right?
They don't feel worthy,
right?
Of the job that that they got to do.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So it's like with this entitlement behavior, it's like, I deserve more. How dare they pay me this? But yet they're giving out free money to these people. Well, it goes back to a conversation that I had with my son and my husband on Saturday. This is why it's important to, if you feel you should be making more, this is why it's important to find a job that pays substantially. You're the one that made the choice to become a DHS social worker, right? And to me, it's just, like I said before, it's just given privilege and entitled and slick at the same time. You really thought that you were going to be able to use the access portal to steal pertinent information that when these people, they come in to apply, right, they sign off on certain things, providing so much detailed information, social security numbers, birthplace, everything. You know, it's one thing to worry about the people outside getting your information, but the people inside as well, people that work in a system to help others.
Right.
Like, it's disgusting. And not to mention, they said that she racked up on $191,000 in food stamp theft.
Wow.
Right? Which stemmed from not only incarcerated and homeless people, but just people in general who were receiving benefits. Like, how do you explain somebody who is incarcerated, but yet their funds on their card is going
It's
down?
being used.
How do you explain that? That
Right.
makes no sense within itself.
Right,
Like,
right.
what, do they have a swipe machine that we don't know about in
the
jail?
jail.
You know, so of course something is going to seem fishy and it's going to come back as fraudulent. And they claim that they've been investigating her for an entire year. So I'm trying to figure out if the rack up of $191,000, almost $200,000, right?
Over a long period or a short period of time?
Right. I'm trying to figure out whether or not if it was within a year time frame, or if it was like over the course of her theft. But if it was within a year time frame, right? That's almost $200,000. Like, it doesn't require that much money per year. And they claim her daughter, who's 27, was involved with the scheme as well, which is crazy, right? But it's like, it doesn't take that much money to feed somebody for the year. You don't need 191. Hell, most people don't even make that, right? And they
Right.
eat substantially.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So you definitely don't need that much to feed yourself or your family or whatever. My whole thing was this: was she purchasing goods and products with all of that money and just sending it abroad? Like, literally sending it back home, maybe?
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Or,
Let us know how you feel about that right there.
As
in
they
the
say,
comments.
like, you know, packing barrels and sending it back home. But
Right.
outside of that, I don't see why you would need that much money. Second of all, I don't condone, or we don't condone, stealing of any sort anyway.
Absolutely.
So you're totally wrong for that. Totally wrong for that. I don't know how they're going to handle that situation, but coming down the pipeline, it could be big things, right? It could be, it could be a situation that she herself wishes that she never got
did.
herself involved with.
But according to what's
Ridiculous.
being said right now, the investigation is on the way as far as to see, you know, how many other situations that she may have tampered with, so to speak. There's corruption in every system nowadays. I think we all kind of know that. To where, okay, let's say if you have a family member who's in a position of
Power.
to make changes, I like the word power, to make changes, right? Can assist another family member or another friend to bypass application process or to bypass certain situations that could possibly slow them down. If you know, well, I'm not saying anything about that, but that's just what happens, right? There's a favor for a favor and a friend of a friend, and you know, that type of corruption. It's not until shit hit the fan, so to speak, that everybody's like, okay, well, they didn't know, or you know, they're trying to plead some form of insanity, or they're trying to plead some form of something in order to get away from it. But at the same time, you know exactly what you were doing. I look at that situation and I'm saying to myself, like, you know, I hope that she's been doing something good with the money that she's, you know, that she took.
Like what?
I don't know.
Hopefully she
I don't know.
saved it.
I don't know.
Hopefully she saved it so she could just give it back to them. But outside of that, that's so, oh my goodness.
I mean, according to them, it shows that she's been making grocery purchases at different store locations.
Right. Well, I mean, for the most part, that's all you can do with food stamps, right?
Yeah.
So, but
Well, they give cash on the cards as well, right?
right, but
Okay, so
I think they were more so referring to the fact that it
The
was
food part of it.
I guess so.
I don't know.
guess so.
I
They
would
didn't,
hope-
elaborately say, cash and food stamps.
Right.
So that's a great point.
Right,
So I'm
right.
not certain of whether or not if it was just all food stamps, which
Or
I
just
think
cash.
that's what they meant. But nevertheless, you shouldn't be stealing anything. You have a job. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You put yourself in a position to get a job. If you felt that you wanted food stamps or any type of public services or
Right.
assistance, you should have quit your job, right?
And join the other line.
Join the other line.
On the other side.
Basically. And get benefits. Since you feel that it was owed and
Right.
due onto you.
Right.
You know? So that outside of that, it's a crazy situation. I'm interested to see how they're going to deal with that situation. But for now, that's just what it is.
I'm trying to shine more light on it, being optimistic, I guess, because I'm thinking maybe, okay, if she's been robbing it from the prisoners and the homeless people, I'm leaning towards like pantry, but I know sometimes pantries are donated stuff that, you know, these supermarkets may donate to your fund, your organization type of business,
I know you're
right?
trying to be optimistic, but that doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't make sense, yes,
because
it doesn't.
why are you
because
taking from people that need to collect from the pantry to give back to the
to
pantry?
give back to the pantry.
So we're going to X that one out.
It's trying to add light to the situation because I listen, I get it. But there's time and place and there's certain things that people do. Not to say that the world does not consist of a lot of crooked people doing crooked shit. Come on, you already know. A lot of these people don't have these positions unless something, you know, was given or gotten in order for them to get it. And then that's how they do. They trickle it down to another friend of a friend, a family member, this, that, and the third, as I mentioned to you before. But that's more or less said and done at this point. But I don't know. You guys let us know in the comment section. I guess this is the most that we can actually respond to it on. Mm-hmm. You have anything else further?
No.
All right.
Like I said, I'm just interested to see how they deal with the situation.
Okay. So until further, I guess information is being brought out to us. We will bring it out to you. Right? So until next time, we'll see you in another video. Thanks for watching.